Alright guys, so I woke up at 10 p.m. last night and I've been up until now. It's 5:51 a.m. and I'm just trying to get some games in. So basically I want to be the first one to put this on YouTube this time around. So we got vampires here for all you diehards, and this is the best version that I could put together, and it honestly has so much power. I was a little bit skeptical about Regis, but you'll see exactly what I mean. And with some of the other cards buffed, it's just so damn strong. And we have movement first, and I was really curious to see how it would do in this matchup, so let's get to it here, guys. We're just doing first impression videos. I got tons of ideas for other decks, so I might be posting a bit more normal than usual, but again, it'll all pan itself out over the course of the week. Now they put Saskia down. It's my first time in this instance seeing Saskia in play, so I'm really curious to see how it goes here. I did a combination of bleeding and ice just to kind of make things a little bit difficult for them. Wild Hunt just has some good points in its proactive plays, and if we're playing in a Vampire Mirror, chances are we have more units with Veil and it make it a bit easier for us here. So we can target immunity with Blood if it's randomized. And why not just get Blood Moon out there, because we are on blue and I want to secure the round this way. That's just wild. The fact that two of the cards come out of the deck now is just really good synergy.
Style, that's right. I like this.
So it's one of those things. Saskia comes down to pretty big commitment. Milva's expensive and Maddox's rather expensive, so we know that they're paying for it a little bit here. And with the Sork on the playing field, 6 provision and Catwitcher 5, they've obviously played a lot more than we have at this point, so there is consideration to go pretty strong into the round, and I don't think that's too bad of an idea, really. Unseen Elder just makes some sense here. We'll go ahead and put it on something that we want to get rid of as soon as possible, and then just boost it up to keep it out of range. Now, before I noticed when you're playing vampires you want to save Unseen Elder for round 3, and that's kind of your big play. What I've noticed with this deck specifically is that it's okay to get out these big bleeding engines early on, because the big point slam in a short round 3 is actually really good, so I value that quite a bit. And you see basically it's boosting in deck every single turn. We have a Finn with the Riders that is a little bit bricked right now, but we can always go and we can fix that next round, take a Naglfar and get out. Now they have 1 bleeding and we have a brick in hand, so if we're going to get a pass, it's probably going to be right now. They have the cooldown timer of 2, so it just makes sense to get out of the situation, I think. And what's nice is that the Regis in deck keeps ticking even after we pass. So that was something that I was looking at right here for the first time, and it was awesome. So chances are they're drawing the cards that they need in the game, because the deck thins out quite well by the looks of it for them. Us, that's a bit more of a problem here. I find Monsters doesn't necessarily have the best devotion thins unless you're playing full out Frost, but in this case it's mostly vampires. And I took out things like Natural Selection and Parasite because I felt like we want to actually get maximum value on the bleeding, and if we're playing into low unit decks, like for example this one here, it's already going to be tricky enough to find bleeding to go on things, so
This is our land.
with Venedane, that's kind of scary. So they're going to be doing what looks like the whole Waylay play with the Simlas, and we got to start ticking that down. We don't have any like immediate control, so when you see something like that, it is a little bit scary for this type of deck. But let's see how well we can fight it. The Flutter is just really good. Flutter with Leader Charge is kind of like Great Sword and Leader Charge if you're thinking about like a Skellige Reckless Flurry, for example. We could probably just go with the thrive here. Don't want to play into the melee row because we're going to give them value in this case. So we stay ahead here. At this point, I value defending card, even if it costs us a couple leader charges. And we got 2 vampires side by side, so we do have something for the Blood Moon if we need it. Oriana's not a bad play either. Hopefully we can get some Hull Punish out of them if Oriana gets a bit bigger here. And just keep boosting that Regis in deck. We want to maintain a last save because now we can protect it against Hull Punish. So when I see the bleeding just being too much for them here, we can easily just pass and we're good to go. Regis is already at 9. I kind of like hiding the points like this. It's hard for the opponent to keep track of what we're doing here. There's the Nagelfar to secure the Regis, really. That's one thing I've noticed through playing this deck, is that going into the round 3, Regis wasn't difficult to pull. You see what I mean there? It's the last gold card left. Pretty lucky in this case, but the consistency seems to be alright. And we'll just tuck that away, because I don't know if it's going to stick anyways. They have the leader charges to push things back to the other row, so it doesn't make too much sense here. And see if they just answer that. If not, we have a good engine to start the round. And is that going to be... oh boy.
As you command, Daisy.
So I want to remove that somehow before they go and bring out all the waylays so that they don't get extra waylays every turn, because that could be a win condition for them. So I'm looking to get that bled down, and I'm thinking that they're going to be saving that play for the end, and we can hit it with the Gales later on. So once we start getting that ticking down, just 3 turns to 3 will be alright. Gotta say, that new card's pretty busted though. The Sharpshooter, it's wild. I'm gonna have to do something with that soon. And I don't necessarily want to take bleeding here, but every turn we don't take bleeding, we're actually losing value on the Regis. And I'm deciding at this point that we're not going to be getting a better bleed. They're probably going to hold off the waylay till the end so that we don't do that to them. So figured, why don't we just take this here and it'll be fun. And so now we can get rid of that ASAP for sure. Might as well take her out here too, spawn one of those, take this out here. It's a very slow play, so if you're not comfortable with that, it does require kind of getting used to it. But you see what I mean? We're starting to get some really good value from this here.
Are you fucking kidding me? Catnip instead of crowns?
And then we can probably just go and play the Alps soon because we want to get the order on that. We also want to make sure we actually get the 3 turns off of it. Easy enough. And we have nothing here that's row locked, which is nice. So playing into this matchup, I think there's only 2 cards that we have that are row locked. Actually 3, including Oriana. Put some more bleeding there, and then we have really good reach with the Wild Hunt combo, right? We want to play Oberyn first, so we get the extra point on the Conqueror. I'm thinking that they might have a... We could take Frost here. There we go, put it in the back row so we get the extra boost. But I'm thinking that they might have a Gezras, so we want to play around the Gezras a little bit here. And that should just reach for tons of waylays here.
Remember to whom you speak. Time for you to die, Dwarf. Elren has shown us the way. For the daisy of the
It did make it awkward for them though. They had a little bit of value lost from those waylays here. I think we just nudged that down, and then we put down the Conqueror, get that to 8, and then we had the big point slam at the end.
Nothing rivals sleep with unicorn. Their hair so silky.
So I'm looking at him, he's 14 plus the drain, okay? That's huge. So we win without playing, but I'm just playing here to show you guys basically what it's worth and how it plays. Comes down here, we've got that, and we have the bleeding on the back row. We can just go ahead and hit that, and we're good to go. 41 to 17, it wasn't even close. Moving on to game number 2, we got Jackpot, and be interesting to see maybe some new cards within the deck or whatnot, so... Looking for mulligans to take, we kind of want to value the Veil stuff a little bit more for the end game, because if you think about it, Veil can't get bounty, and if they're bounty or poison, then we have a little bit of an advantage there. It doesn't really benefit us too much to see Regis in hand in round 1. I don't think you ever want to play that card in round 1. And Catechin has cooldown much like Shani, so it doesn't hurt to play Catechin a bit early and obviously just get some value from it here. We have a lot of engines I want to set up. I want to get down our other boost by 1 every turn with bleeding, and then I want to start getting some bleeding down. It's difficult that way. We also have to see if we can keep it on the board for another 3 turns. So I'm trying to speed things up a little bit, and then this way we can put down the other card next turn, start getting that engine working, and it shouldn't be too bad here. It's kind of cool to see Regis boosting in hand, just to kind of show you guys exactly what I mean by every single turn. If there's bleeding, it's going to get that extra 1 base power. And I'm trying to make my way across the factions here, so today I'm going to be doing a lot of monsters, I think, and then we're going to switch faction every day for the next few days, just so I can stay organized with it. And what I'm looking to do is play... There's an argument to take a leader charge there, but we are on red coin. Now... yeah, I'm looking to play decks that have some of the new reworked cards and the new cards, of course, and then some of the patch updates, like with, you know, some of the buffs and stuff like that. Get the most value out of things, and this deck right here has pretty much that. So we have to look at getting dominance back at some point in this round. It'd be nice to kind of finish the round with the riders and stuff, but worst case, we don't have to play too deep into the round. I'm excited to play vampires, and I'm playing them first because I tried to make a vampires deck a couple weeks back and it wasn't very good, and I felt like now it's a great opportunity to get this done, so that's why I was most keen on it. Even though I play mostly direct control decks, like you'd think I'd hop on Skellige first or Scoia'tael, but again, this is something I've been looking at doing for a while.
Evil is at work, the Howling Sightings.
Couple other little updates with the channel too. I just got approved for the YouTube membership program, so if you guys want to help support the content that I make, there is a membership program now that you can enroll in. And also, I posted the video. It's going to premiere at 8 AM, so in a couple hours from now, basically with the meme contest that we did. So if you're interested to see how that one panned out, definitely check out that video. I put timestamps in it, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you just want to see who won, you can easily skip to the end and stuff like that. But we'll be giving the prize out this week, and I wish I had more time to do it, but with the Masters and with the reset and all these other things that are really important, I want to make sure that we're still focusing on competitive play as well. So I tried to get that one done in one day yesterday, and it was a big challenge for me.
If the ring won't come off, just take the whole finger.
And I think we can still play here. I honestly do. So Blood Moon's kind of nice in getting some commitments from them. There's Drill. That's nice to see, actually. And then I might respond to this with like an Oriana or something like that. I want to get out all their coin and have them panicking a little bit here, so I don't mind going and taking something like that. They're really doing a good job at keeping the riders out of play here, and I don't know if it's deliberate, but it's working out quite well for them. I just have a tendency of wedging vampires between vampires just so that I don't break anything by an accident. There we go. So that's not too bad. I'm just trying to stay in front every turn until I can no longer do that. But we've got 4 units that are bleeding on their side. We have 3 engines on our side. Technically 4 with the Thrive there. So we're doing alright. It'd be nice to see like a horse can come down because we could push it back. And if they full spend on Drill, we might actually not be able to play into this anymore. 3 for 2, so they can clear that. And no dominance for the riders. We can't play Regis, and Bruiser's not really going to be good here. I have Bruiser teched into row lock cards because if we want to get through a defender so that we can give more bleeding behind it, if we want to push something back that only works on melee, it's an option for us as well. And it really makes sense here because, again, if they put down a defender, it kind of ruins our whole strat, so I felt like that was important for that reason. Thinking about it, I don't think I do end up playing here, do I? Because you have to consider the fact that if we do get a pass there, we still have to play, and we don't have it. Like, it's not worth it, so we'll go ahead and pass. Let me know in the comments too, guys, what decks are you most excited in seeing? Because then that might help me prioritize a little bit what I start working on. Get a quick pass here. We can go for the deck then and just take that here. Perfect. And I did think about playing this deck with Carapace, however, I felt like we get so much synergy with the Fletters and with the Regis with this specific leader that it doesn't feel like Carapace is any better. And normally when I do play Vampires, I tend to go Carapace, so that's actually, it says a lot really. How many golds in deck? We have 1. I don't think we want to risk it too much here. We've got good engines, we have good point slams that are protected, and I think we just take that here. So last say Regis avoids a Graydon or something like that, which is pretty nice. And we have a pretty good opening play too. I'm just highlighting over the Wild Hunt cards because they act as a really good proactive play. A little bit of high roll here, but I really want to maximize the amount of points we get. So let's just go down with that here. 13 on deploy, and then we can just slam down the other 2 cards and obviously get the engine off of that too, right? Conqueror plays for 8, Bruiser plays for 6, and then we can really get into our vampire stuff. That is if they don't play interactive.
Nothing rivals silky.
I like symmetry, so I always just put stuff the way it looks cool most of the time. I know it's like a really bad reason, but you know, again, they can't give a bounty, it's perfect. So now we kind of have to go and we put the... Yeah, we're gonna have to play the Neckaret. So we could start engineering the flutter, get some value out of that. The boost that that gets is awesome. I like how it has the ceiling of cooldown 1, so you can't just go wild with it every turn and have them worth like 40 points or something crazy, because that would just be ridiculous. The vampire deck itself feels pretty strong, it feels pretty balanced, but I don't know how it's going to compare against every matchup here in the meta because I have yet to play all of them. In fact, I'm sneaking in a few games early for this one here because I have other videos I want to make today. But you know very well, whether it be casual or ranked right now, you have all the tryhards coming online early before the expansion, so Twitch is bumping right now, everyone's playing right now, and the reason why I go and take that there is because I want to get the boost by 3, and there's 5 turns left, so it evens out quite well. We can just get that ticking down, and then we can look at putting bleeding on other stuff after. Pretty comfortable lead here too. Now the opponent did make a detrimental mistake coming up. I don't think it would have costed us the game. That's why I still included the game, because we have such a big lead here and we have an answer to it anyways. So I'm fully aware of that play if you're watching the video. And I'm going to be getting into more thorough deck guides, but I'm just trying to give you my observations and try to get this stuff out as quick as possible for you guys, because I know you're going to be excited to play, and same here, you know, so at least get some deck inspiration as soon as possible, and then we can kind of hone in on more of a refined version within the coming couple weeks as the meta starts to shape and things like that. And this is the mistake that I was talking about. From them at least. Like I said, it wouldn't have costed the game because we would have just pushed it back next turn anyways, and we still had huge points in hand. So that was that. Moving on to the last game for Vampires, we've got another Guerilla Tactics deck, and I'm starting to think that we're going to see a lot of this matchup. Flutter in round 1's pretty nice. Like, I'd like to have at least one here. And then we just got tons and tons of engines. We can just powerhouse it here. They're an engine deck, so it would be nice to have some engines as well.
Show me the coin or sod off.
So they opt not to take. And with this line here, I was trying to see, okay, what happens if we aggro here? If they are playing low unit, then we don't get too many chances to use that leader. If they're engines, then maybe we can just try and win on even here in round 1. So I figured let's just keep that out of removal range here, and we can start getting down those other engines here. There's no problem with playing the Garkins here. And we still have a bit of space and time to play the second Garkin and then put some bleeding on some other stuff, so that's pretty good as well. And again with the whole symmetry thing, I don't even know how, like, I don't even notice how much I do this until I watch myself play the game. But it does look nice, doesn't it? You know, they sell like paintings like that. There's like 2 images on either side that are like the same, and there's one in the middle that's different. I need one of those.
I hate you. Curse you, dwarf.
And this just busted. Sharpshooter's gonna be a problem, man. I'm going to play Nilfgaard, and I'm going to use Amnesty. So I don't really want to put Blood Moon on the back row because of the Veil. We have a chance of missing that. So I figure let's just give them a little bit of a hard time here.
upon which
Holy.
your kind dies.
Seeing a lot of these combos for the first time is pretty crazy.
I'll get it done.
And we still have push. We still got push here. Perfect. I couldn't fit every vampire in the deck. There were cards like the Photo Flutter that I didn't feel were crazy enough to put in. The first version that I had Aridin, which was actually really good, but I forgot about Catechin for a second. I took that out. I made the change there. Just makes a bit more sense to put something like that. Now, we still have some good points here, as do they. I think I'm going to just go and take this here. Like I said, big reach, and if they have any sort of tall punish, like, let's see it, right? Let's see the 18-point heat wave, or whatever the case may be. It's better now than later. And we want to play into the round as long as possible, too, because the long round's where we get the most value. We go ahead and lock that, realizing how much of a threat it was. I personally probably would have locked the Unseen Elder, but it's fine. They probably just are planning to try and kill it off here shortly. 33-28. We still got reach. I'm just going to force it here. Alp's nice. Qcento comes down. This Milva Sharpshooter just gives everything such a clean removal. Do we have the reach though? I mean, it's actually not bad. It's not as bad as it looks here. Oriana's fine. I think in short round we do good. Especially we just keep building that Regis. And I think we play pretty well into this matchup because the bleeding sort of counters, I guess, all that movement stuff they're doing. Yeah, let's go ahead and take this. And honestly, I think anything we'd have to roll off Nagofar would just do it.
Fitting gift for our king.
So it's not enough on a pass, we go and take. Obviously we're not playing Regis in round 1. Catechin has to come down. And I don't think Catechin even lasts for a second cooldown later, so I don't feel too bad about it. It is what it is. Depending on what we can pull here, we could go for a soft bleed. What's nice against certain matchups too is that we can often go for like a 2-0 if we have a really good Regis. And seeing Regis at 11, it's going to be playing for the 3+3, so this looks like it can almost be a 2-0 hand, right? Be nice to have Auburn, of course. And with Dunka coming down, we get back hard here if we just go about it that way. I want to have a round 3 that's at least 3 turns. If they put down something that I can put bleeding on, I might be like curious to just look for like a little bit more of a round here, but I think we have to pass because it's Dunka. So technically we have a little bit of an advantage here with the leader and they don't have one. So we put on a lot of pressure early on, which is good. A little bit of a soft bleed. Let's see what we get for round 3. Perfect. Bruxa can probably go here. Necrobat's not bad. I think we ditch the special because they might not play too interactive. There we go. I kind of like the Bruiser. they've got some roll-lock cards, so that is actually something I would consider moving. I'm not going to rush into it though, we can always do that next turn.
Yeah, I work for the police. Better than work for humans.
Here's probably where we'll do it. Put bleeding on that one here, take the bruiser, and just move the sentry to the front so that, again, they're not really getting those extra points every single turn. That could add up pretty quickly. What's it going to play? Mata? Okay, dragging the round a bit longer is actually not really good for them here. So I want to get down Blood Moon as soon as possible because we want to get some value from that. So I'm looking at potentially doing this here, get some bleeding here. We could probably put down Detlef between the two vampires, increase the length here. So the rest of the game is going to be Blood Moon on that row. And then we can start nudging down things and trying to get more of the Ekamaras. That's pretty annoying. Gezras comes up here, and we're stacked on melee, of course. If I had more vampires, I would have been playing more unranged. It was just a matter of being able to get that sort of sandwiched in between the two vampires so that we can get some value there. But with what we're dealing with here, I'm not too threatened by, you know, what they're doing. I'm considering going more, you know, we could take that, but I think the Frost is actually the better play. We're engineering, we're doing damage here. We gotta put that on melee though, don't we? It's okay because Gezras hits the armor, and that's the last time it'll hit. And then we can just go ahead and take that here. Both roads are getting beat up here, and we've got like 20 plus point card. Look at this. Doesn't matter what we hit at this point, but there you have it, 41-9. We'll see you guys soon.